Hello, my name's Will and I talk a lot around the subjects of workplace violence. That includes things like personal safety, lone working or working alone as some people portray it to me as, dealing with difficult incidents, telephone conflict which has been very popular over the past few months with our company, and obviously anything in relation to security. That's through equipment, which I've been reviewing a lot, and information on possible services to reduce the risk and improve personal safety. Now, in this video, I was asked about a question in relation to, shall we say, panic devices. Now, I don't mean the panic device that you carry, even though I've already had an item sent to me and asked to review for a client. But I'm on about the panic buttons that you will have in certain buildings, like, for instance, interview rooms, reception areas, even, shall we say, alarms in vulnerable areas, whereas they're in a communal area, if it's in a housing, or in a certain reception area within a hotel. So there's many things that a panic button can be actually used for. And what I want to do is just have a quick chit chat about, well, what is a panic button and why should we have one and what should we think about before we put it in place? So let's have a think about it. So panic alarm is not a very good phrase if you think about it. Imagine you've just started a job and someone says to you, oh, by the way, when you're working on the reception, here's a panic alarm. Oh, by the way, when you're in this room, here's a panic alarm. I'm sure certain images will be projected into the head of something's definitely going to go wrong here. Now, I've worked in security for many years and I've dealt with all sorts of incidents and I've dealt with all sorts of different types of procedures. And part of it has been around panic alarms in the sense of fixed or mobile alarms for the premises. Now, whenever I work with a client, or a new client, and they say to me, Will, we want a review or we want to look into having panic alarms, I always go back to basics. And I say, okay, what is the reason we need it for? Now, it sounds funny probably to one or two people, but what is the reason we need it for? What is the person that's coming through that front door, i.e. the customer, member of public, even staff members, what risk are they posing that we need to have the alarm? Then I say, right, okay then, so this is the reason why we need it. It's because of verbal abuse, verbal threat, etc. Then we say, well, what's it going to do? Is it going to alert the staff or is it going to alert the police? Okay. Then I look at where it's going to be. That's important for me. Because some people seem to stick it into locations that are tricky to get to, or they seem to be hidden behind computers, and there's all these things, and nobody sits down and goes, well, actually, if this panic is that you need to touch the thing ASAP to get assistance. So I say, where are we going to put it? Even modern ones that I've worked with over the past few years, where the system has actually been built into the actual phone in the room. So they pick up a phone, they hold a certain key down, and it alerts staff that there is a situation. So positioning of the alarm is the next thing I do. Then I say, well, okay then, how do we position the room? Where do we put the table? Where do we put the chair? Where do we make the person who comes into the room, where do we make them sit? And it all seems very simplistic things. But from my experience, over time, people move furniture and they move things around because certain new computers go in or plug sockets are changed, and therefore it can then move away from where the actual alarm system is installed. So I get them to think about that. Then once we got that one down, I then go in, right, before we even write the procedures, what do we want the other staff, support staff, to do? What I mean is, when we press a button, we don't want 30 staff piling into the room. We don't want to press the shall we say, the alarm and one reception lady or gentleman walks into the room. We want to work out, well, what's the level of risk to the level of response? Also, who do we want to respond? Do we want staff? Do we want managers? What do we want to happen? Do we want the room to be locked down? Do we want the building to be locked down? Do we want to have certain measures in place? Do we want to implement, which I'm very keen for, code words? So when we enter the room. Then I also talk about, well, what do we want the staff to do outside? We don't want them running into a room. We want them to stop, listen, think, consider, and then act. These are the little things that we've got to sit down and work out. Then what we do, once we all agree, and the staff have buy-in, because that's my favourite term. How do we put it in our procedures? How do we clearly put it across to them? And then when we've done that, so we've done it all then, we're happy. We've done our risk assessment of what the risk is. We've looked at where we're going to put the alarm system. We've looked at how we're going to do the layout of the room. We've looked at how the staff are going to react. We then turn around and we practice it. Yeah, practice. Why not? There's nothing worse than you not keeping on top as an organisation of what to do in the event of the alarm being activated. About 5 years ago, I was invited to an organisation to, shall we say, test their security measures. And fine initially, and then I went into their interview room, and then I eventually found the panic button, and when I pressed the panic button, and the alarm did go off, it sounded like a reversing truck, for one, and secondly, 2 members of staff walked past the window of the actual interview room, and I walked out and said hello and asked them where they were going, and they thought it was the fire alarm, which was peculiar because it sounded like a reversing truck. However, it proved to me there and then that nobody had practiced actions to do when the alarm is activated. See, it's back to basics in that context. What do we do when the alarm goes off? And more importantly on that context, yes, when it goes off, and what do we do? But what do we also do if it's a false alarm? Because that person in the room, we've activated an alarm and we're coming into that room, that person there might, shall we say, get frustrated, angry, even aggressive if an alarm has been activated and it was a mistake. Panic alarms are very important. They are. If you're an organisation and you have them in place, do a quick review. It doesn't take long. Because as I make a joke all the time, and now it seems to be my word that people refer me to, in the way, my little line I will call it, is that the only person that's going to keep you safe is you. Stay safe whatever you're doing. Please continue to follow us on our social media, especially our LinkedIn and our YouTube channel, which is being brilliant at the moment. But also we're on Twitter as well for people that just want to get the videos. Thank you for watching. I look forward to doing more videos. And bye for now.